Collaboration tool. That's what we are going to discuss now. When I say collaboration tool, I may be wrong at the spelling, but let it be. Okay. Collaboration tool. What does it say? So we need something where multiple people, multiple developers can work together on the single project. Okay. What do we have for that? We do have a GitHub. That's what we are working on. That's what we are discussing. Okay, let me just log in this as well because we would need this as well. Now I want to work on to one more thing which says, let's just say GitHub. Okay. So whenever you are landing on your home page for this GitHub, this is how it would be visible to you. If you just sign up, you would be able to create your account. You might have heard and used GitHub also for multiple purposes. Same way, this is the same thing. We would be creating repositories for our project and we would be using that for the collaboration across multiple users, multiple developers. So I think it's a bit slow. That's why it is rotating. Otherwise, it would ask you to pass your email ID and the password and the certain information to create your account. But as I do have already available one, I'll just sign in. I'll be able to sign into my GitHub. Okay. Now each and everything that you would be collaborating over here comes in a form of a repository. You would be able to create a repository on which you would be working. Okay. So I can say if I want to work on a GitHub, I would be creating a repository. What is the purpose over here? So my purpose is that I want my this project that I was working on this project, but I don't want to be the only person who would be working on this. Let's just say I have prepared initial skeleton. Now I want that one more entity for the past experience should be created. It should have its dedicated service and everything generated. And I want my colleague also to work on that parallelly till the time I am working on some other functionality. Okay. Now, if I ask him to start working on this, he won't be able to because he don't see this. So what I'll do is I would be creating as a part of my uh, repository, my account in the GitHub, I would be creating one more repository. So as a part of my GitHub account, I do have one more repository that I will be creating. If I want it to be visible to multiple people, there are two ways. Either I can make it public, or if I just make it private, then internally I would have some sort of organization or some sort of group to which I would be belonging to, that you would also feel when you are working with any sort of organization. Okay, so public, it means it's visible publicly. But when I say private, it means it's only visible to you and the organization group that you created, to which you want this report to be communicated or to be visible. So many times in organization, you would find that the repository that we are creating would be private, but the functionality is similar. So as I want it to be, I can say collaborative, because I don't have any sort of organization's architecture created, I would go with a public one. I'll just create a one over here. and you can add any sort of text or I can say instructions you want to add in a readme file. Okay, and you can create the repository. And here one more important thing is the git ignore. If you just read the name clearly, what it does says that add a git ignore. What does that mean? That while uploading, I can say while collab or I can say while sharing the files of a project on Git, which all files you want to be ignored. Now, why would I need that? When I say I have created this project, I would want each and every thing of it to be pushed to Git, right? Well, not necessary. Okay. For example, this node module is something which is generated when we install the dependencies. Okay. So for example, node modules, just as an example, whenever you are building a project, an empty archive file gets generated, whose purpose is to deploy it. But it's not a real project file. It's just a generated file. Any sort of gen folders, these are also generated and it can be generated again. So it does not have any meaning if you push those file. So this is some term you would be hearing from me multiple time. Push those file onto Git because this there can be generated, and all those file which you want to be ignored while a push. I mean, when I say push, I can say send files from local to Git. That is what that is the meaning of push. That I want all this file to be available somewhere in my Git. That's where I'll be just going with a push. If I want that someone has done some sort of change, or I want to have this information, have these files additionally which are available over here in my repository locally available, then I can say pull. I can say get files from Git to local. These are initial term. We have few more as well. We would be discussing that. So whatever thing that you want to be ignored while going with a push command, you can write in git ignore. And that's why you have to specify which particular language your project is going to work on. So I can say it would be a node based project. Okay. Because based on the template, it would give you an auto generated git ignore file. If you don't select the template, it would be giving a default one. But here, if you see, CAP also generates a git ignore file, which says that the node module should not be pushed, generated file should not be pushed, empty archive should also not be pushed. So it depends. Like if you have your own list, you can specify the list over here, and this file won't be pushed going forward. So for example, my local database, which I do have employee.db, it won't push this to Git because I have specified in a git ignore. Now, I would generate a repository whose name would be, its name can be anything. It can be similar or it can be different. It's preferred that you give the same name to the repository as your project. I'll just say create repository. So I do have this repository which is available over here in public level. It's a main branch which I do have. So in a Git, everything works in a terms of a branch. So I was saying that I do have a project in which one developer was working and another developer is about to start working on that. Okay, so when I say this, one developer was working, then he would be working on some sort of branch one. Then my another developer might start working on branch two. Then once his changes are done, his changes are also done, I can merge both of this. So this is also one of the term that I can merge the change which are ongoing for multiple branch once both of this developer has pushed their change. Then I can merge this across. Okay. So this can be done. Now, let's just say I want this project to be available. Very first thing, I want that this project should be available centrally. So what I'll do is I'll just simply say that I want to initialize my Git. So I'll just say Git over here, and I want to be initialized that this repo should be on Git. Then they just set this to Git. So when we are setting this to Git, if you see over here, you would be able to find all the files that these are all the file other than we do have what in the git ignore, those would be pushed. Now, when you are working on Git, you do have two interfaces. However, you are comfortable, you can use that. This is called source control. And it's why I was also opening the BTP account, Business Application Studio, side by side is to show you that this source control is not something that we only do have as a part of Visual Studio Code. It's also part of Business Application Studio. So in case you want to work on a command line basis, you can work on that. In case you want to, let's just say I want to commit this change. So commit, it means, you can say commit, it means confirm and prepare the changes to be pushed locally. So you are preparing the change. Okay, these are the change that I'll be pushing. Okay, and what does it mean? It means that you would be committing first. This would be your first step, and then this would be your second step. In case of a passing data to the world outside. Okay, so whatever step that you want to perform. Okay, if I do have, I'll just start this particular process. So here you would find multiple options. Pass the message. So let's just say here it's my initial project. So I could have said initial project like this, and I can say control enter. It would be committed. I do have multiple options. Can you see? I can commit the change. Before committing the change, you can stage. Stage, it means you are preparing the change and then you are confirming that. Then you would be able to sync. Now sync works two ways. It pull the change. When I say pull, it means, let's just say I am saying my developer one is working. He might have done some change, and let's consider that coincidentally both of this developer are working on the same branch. Okay, then in that case, if I am saying that at some sort of time, this developer push one, okay, this developer pushed, or I can say pull one change, which was of version one. He was also at version one. Now my developer two push some sort of change. So this is my v1 underscore one. But now what code version I do have over here with my developer? It is the earlier version. So if I just push my change, and if it's in the same file, it would be overridden. So what should be the ideal process? I should first commit my change, because commit is what? Commit is confirm and prepare the change locally. I have just prepared my change locally. Post which I would pull the change which the other one might have done. And as I am working on the same branch, I would be able to find that. And once I have pulled the change, both of this would get merged. And fourth thing that I'll be doing is I would be pushing the combined change. So I would be pulling the change which other might have done in my local branch to merge both of this. And that merging would be taken place automatically. It's not me who would be doing it manually. System would take care of that. The GitHub architecture. And once I do have both the change combined, I would be pushing the change. And even though I'm pushing it for the first time, it would become v1 underscore 2, because on top of what this developer has done his change, I am pushing my change as well. That is, in terms of certain Git, it's called sync. So sync is a kind of a hybrid term, which is not a genuine command. Command that you would hear is push and pull. Okay. Okay, so yeah, let me just start this as well. So it's getting started. Now I do have initialized this particular repo. I'll just say git status to identify that, okay, what all files I do have. So can you see? It is having all the folders and files. So it says all the files under DB. Okay, here it is named as a file. So it's giving me the status of all the files. Then whatever file I want to push to the Git, I would keep on adding those. So I do have multiple option. I can say Git add, and then I can say CDS SRC JSON. Likewise, I can add all individual file if I want to. Only many times what happens is, if you are working on a collaboration and someone says, okay, give me that particular file change that you have done, I'll be using it for my change because I would like to combine it. So you would only be committing only partial change. Then in that case, you can say git add and that particular file. But if let's just say in most of the scenario, when you are pushing all the change, what you can say is git add, and then you can say dash a. When I say dash a, you are considering that all the change, let's just say all of this change, you are preparing. Now, if you just say, now can you see, these are the stage change. The code change that I did have are now staged, are now already prepared that, okay, whatever operations that I'll be doing would be on all these files. So these are no longer just changes has be turned into zero, but these are my stage change. So if I now check the status, it would say that these are all the new files which would be pushed going forward. In case you are doing any change, it would just git status would show change file. Along with the new file, it would just say change file as well. Now, I want to commit this change. So like I was having a command over here, I could go directly over here as well. But I want to make it clear that irrespective of whatever platform you are working on, it's the terminology should be same. And that works on this git command line. So I'll just say git commit, and for the change that I'm going to merge, I'll just say my first git commit, and I'll just say enter. And it just say this all the change are now committed. Can you see? It just remove all the change from here and just saying publish it to the branch, make it public wherever you want to. Right? Now, what I do have over here is I have multiple options that now I can say git status, which would say on branch dev, nothing to commit. You have already committed everything. Working tree is clean. You don't have anything that you not have committed. Okay. Now I do have an option that, okay. Now, as I was mentioning, okay, if I just go over here, my all the work over here is done in the form of a branch, that I do have a main branch over here. If someone says I want to work on some temporary change, I'll just say, if you see what is the word saying, find or create a branch. So I'll just say temp branch I want to create. So it says create a branch temp from main. So it would copy everything that this main has, and it would create a temporary branch out of that. So I can have n number of such branch which I can create. Okay, so what I do have over here is I do have a main branch. So if I just list it out, I do have a main branch which is available. I can have a branch, for example, some sort of a feature branch. For example, feature branch, I am working on specific feature of an application. So I can say feature branch which is not yet available. So if I say that I do have a main branch which is available, I do have a feature branch which is not available. So in case I want to connect this, to my remote branch. Okay, what I'll do is I have to consider a remote connection as well. Till the time we are only working on local, I have not set any sort of remote connection. Did I mention anywhere the name of this repository? No, I have to, right? So what I'll do is I'll just say git remote add origin. I'll just say git remote add origin. And here I'll be just mentioning Okay, I do have it already copied.
Sumit?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you can move this recording cursor bar as well. Because
Which cursor? This is the one, right? Which I am.
recording,
Which is
recording.
okay. 1 second. On top, are you seeing anything?
No. In down recording bar, it will be there, right?
I can't see any sort of recording bar. Maybe where are you talking about? Like what? Like, can you guide me? Like where exactly? So this is my team screen. Okay. Sorry, maybe you are on mute. I can't hear you.
Okay, now it's okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Perfectly fine. So here you do have an option of git remote add origin. Here you would be able to add the origin. So I'll just say dot git. Can you see? Now I am connected to this particular repo. Git remote add origin. So now if I just say git status, I am saying I am on branch dev and I am perfectly fine with it. If I just say git branch, it should show me all the branch that I would have created. So it says it's currently on local dev branch. I don't have any specific branch available till now. Now I want to create one branch over here. So there are two things. When you want to create a branch, then you do have an option of git checkout. The moment you say checkout, that's where it would be connected to. Okay, so I'll just say checkout and I want it to be working on main branch. So I'll just say main over here. I'll just say git checkout. And for example, I want to work on main branch. What did just happen? Git checkout. Okay, yeah, I have to set that particular first. So I want to connect this branch to my remote branch. So I'll just say git over here and I'll just say branch. So when I say just branch, it would give me the list of branch, but I'll just say git branch over here. So whenever I do have a local branch created like this, I can map it to the remote branch. So I'll just say set upstream dash 2 equal to, here you can say origin slash the name of the branch. So I'll just say main. It is not connected. Okay. I do have two branch and I would like to work on my checkout and dev branch itself. I don't want to work on another. So I just switch to this. Okay. Now I want to just move this change to my public one. So ideally, what we ideally do is we just connect to the remote. So when we say add remote, ideally it would ask me to add any sort of remote branch over here. Please provide the repository. So I'll just say I want to provide the name of repository over here. Please provide a remote name. So I would like to provide the remote name as main. Now I want to just say, I want to sync. BTP BE employee. That's what my branch is. Now I have to sign in because till the time I don't sign in, it won't allow me to work. So what it would do is it would open up a particular browser. It's having some sort of auto login because of my. One second. Okay, just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. I guess my another account was already logged in, so I'll just try to publish this now. It would ask me to log in. It's trying to authenticate. It would open up over here. Now, yeah, I am getting the. Now I'll go back. Open. Now I can sync the change. So the moment I just say sync change, it would push my change. The action will pull and push the commit. Yeah, okay. Should ideally. Now if I just go in my Git repo. Now if I just see, I do have a dev branch created because that's what it was named it as. Right? Can you see? I do have my first commit. I do have my first project available over here. Going forward, whenever, okay, any sort of such change occur, it would try to recognize this change and we would be able to clone it. So for example, if I am going in my over here, it's running. I'll just open this. We do have a kind of a same name available over here, but I'll just say that's anyway something we don't want right now. So I'll just let this be open. So if you see, can you see the source control file also over here? So here we do have the same icon. It's the same source control. Let's wait for this to be loaded. So there is the same source control. It has the same set of option. I guess it's the remote BAS, so it's taking some time to be loaded. But if you just go over here, you would be able to find that I do have the same set of option in the Business Application Studio as well. Now, as we did created our last project over there, I just went from there. But if you see, we do have the same pull push. We can create the branch, set it to remote, and we do have the same set of terminals that you can start working on from here. So if I want, I'll just go over here. We'll just perform one more step. For example, yeah, I would go over here, say new terminal in the project. I want okay. I would say, yeah, over here, if you just say copy over here in the code, you would get an option to git clone and the name. So if you just say git clone from this and just say enter. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I already have available repo. Okay, I just rename that git clone. Can you see the code that we just created on my Visual Studio Code as a part of the Git? I do have all the branch and it just fetch all the data. Okay, why it is fetching all the data? That is fetching all the data. It should not. No, this is not what I was expecting. BTP BE employee, that's the correct one. This doesn't seem to be local one, I guess. Home user BTP BE employee. BE employee. Ideally, when we just say git clone, it would clone the project, but why it did not? Okay, let me just. Okay, let me just check, and I guess I'll just prepare one more video on that, and I'll just share it with you. Okay. Not sure why it is behaving the different way because it's just same project. So let's just say I have also connected this to clone. This is also connected. So I mean, one thing is this is how you can push the change, and then afterward, let's just say if I want to create one more branch out of that out of dev, I want one more branch to be created. I'll just say feature dev. I'll just create from dev. So for example, I am here in a feature dev, and here you would be able to find some sort of SRV, for example. And for example, I am doing some sort of random change. So there are multiple options. Either you can change it from Git or change it from other place as well. So for example, I am doing some sort of sample change over here. And you want to commit the change. I mean, my server, this particular file has been changed. Now, I want this change to be available in my dev branch. So what I'll do is I would create a pull request. When I say pull, it means pull one set of, okay, let's just say this is another developer who was working. He just passed the change. This is what one developer already pushed. Now I want to merge both of this change. So what I can do is I can ask that this change should be merged into this. So I'll just clearly say that I want to open a pull request as a part of which from a feature dev. From a feature dev, I want to merge the change into dev. And here you would find that, okay, it's able to merge. And here what you would be getting is, okay, this particular line is the additional line that was changed. So I'll just say, okay, create a pull request. The moment you create the pull request, you would be able to see it over here. And it would do some sort of internal check. And the moment you say merge, where the change would be merged, it would say wants to merge one commit into this dev branch from this feature dev branch. So I'll just say merge pull request. Now you do have multiple options. Many time merging it blindly might also be issue. So what you can do is you can add multiple reviewers. So if you are working in an organization, you would find the list of all the reviewers and you can search from there. That's the organizational setup. You and till the time at least one of the reviewer doesn't approve your change, you won't be able to merge your change. Okay, so I'll just say commit the merge. The moment I say this, now if you see I did